Hello, hello. I am Bex Baker, your host. I am an adopter of two. I discovered very early on in our first adoption that there were no Christian podcasts set within the UK context discussing all things fostering and adoption. On this podcast, we are going to talk to people across the 4 nations of the UK about their stories in relation to all things fostering, adoption, kinship care, supported lodgings, all things vulnerable children. Every story is unique and beautiful as to how God is working in the care system across the UK. If you would like to share your story, please contact us via email or DM us on Instagram. This is Families Made Differently. Hello and welcome to Families Made Differently. This is Bex Baker, your host, and today I am joined with Kieran. Would you like to start by introducing yourself?
So I'm Kieran, and I'm part of the care system.
What does your family look like now?
So I have a mum, I have a dad, and I have a dog and cat. Shadow, my cat, my dog Atlas, who we got at the start of lockdown.
Great. And yourself?
Yes.
An important member of your family. And how has fostering shaped your family?
I think when my mum and dad began to get into the foster caring stuff, I think something to do with the judge, they weren't happy with them. I think there was 1 or 2 problems, which we wouldn't see as problems, but they have rules and stuff. But once you get over that, obviously I moved in and I got a little bit annoyed that they kept coming, which is their job, they're supposed to. But I kind of wanted to feel like, I'm part of a family. I'm not this special family. I'm part of a family.
Yeah. And how did you find the social workers visiting? Why was it frustrating that they came? And what was it that they did that might have been like?
I think sometimes it felt like they were trying to maybe follow a script instead of kind of person to person.
Rather than getting to know you, they were like, I have to do this box and this box and I have to have this answer for this bit of this form.
I think every half a year I had to do one of those forms where it was, how happy are you? Do you like this family? Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, goodness. It's a bit dire, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how did you feel the day you moved in with your mum and dad?
So I'd met them once before. We played a chess game, which my dad let me draw. So I got to know their personalities a little bit. Obviously, when I moved in, I think the drive there was a little bit sad, seeing them all at the front door waving goodbye. Vicky, who was my foster mum. I think I was a little bit nervous when I first walked in. New space, new environment and stuff. I think I went to my room, kind of spent a little bit there just to relax a little bit, which my mum and dad had actually bought furniture for, which I chose when they met the first time.
Oh, that's lovely.
So I already knew what it looked like, which was awesome. I think for the first year it was a little bit iffy, I didn't really know them, they didn't really know me, so it was a little bit awkward, and it was do I like you, do I not like you? But eventually we settled in and now we're happy.
What's your favourite thing to do with your parents?
On holiday we usually play some board games together. Usually it's just silly games, there's a llama unleashed one, and there's a cat one. There's different funny games like that. With my dad, I think it's probably video games or a card game called Magic the Gathering, and obviously eating with my mum as well. We recently went to Salt, which is my favourite restaurant. It's a Japanese cuisine.
Ooh.
So,
how did you feel about moving into a Christian home?
So previously I had been with a Christian family, Vicky. It was more Catholic, so it was a little bit different. The church was a lot different. It was more, you listen to a guy read the Bible, and there was a box, like a confession booth box.
Okay.
Which the church I go to now doesn't have. The church I have now, it's a lot more vibrant, I'd say. And I'd say younger people. There are still old people in the church, but there's a lot more young people. And it's a lot more happy, vibrant, and there's a lot more options. You've got a lot of different groups for all age ranges, which is quite nice.
Good. And how did you find the change from the one church to the other church?
I was a bit shocked to begin with, because there's people at the door who greet you.
Oh, okay.
My mum and dad, they were like, oh, this is my son, and then they were all excited and chatty, and it was very welcoming.
Okay.
Which is quite nice. And then you go in, and there's the singing's also a lot more vibrant. I think it's more hymns in the other church.
Very good. Have you made a personal commitment to follow Jesus?
Yeah, so about a year ago, I got baptised, which was just supposed to be me, my mum, my dad. But my mum started saying, "Can this person come? Can this person come?" My whole family eventually came.
So she was excited about it.
I think also I'm glad that a lot of people came, because baptizing, you're supposed to show people that this is you committing your life to Jesus. So it was good not to shy away and say, don't hidden away. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a declaration, isn't it? Very good. How has your life journey played a role in leading you to follow Jesus?
So it started with a bucket and spade, actually. My birth mum had ran away to Blackpool, and there was like concrete slabs outside, and for some reason it just dinged inside me that I wanted to play with my bucket and spade outside, and then the police came by and they put me into like a emergency caring place before moving in with Vicky. So that was kind of a miracle almost.
That's cool. And you can see God's hand
being there
all those years ago. What age were you then when that happened and when you moved in with Vicky?
I think it was about 5 years old when that happened.
Okay.
And it was only a couple of days I was in the emergency care home, so I was still 5 when I went to Vicky's.
Cool. And how long did you live with Vicky?
5 years, so
5 years.
quite a lot.
Okay, and then you moved to your mum and dad's from Vicky's house. So you recently started direct contact. How is it going?
Surprisingly well, yeah. I didn't really expect it to go well to begin with.
Okay. Was that you lowering your expectations in order to make it better, or did you just think this is going to be shocking and you just really
I think I was just a bit scared of what it should look like, how she'd be,
Okay.
kind of who she was, and I tried to kind of almost not think about it up until we met for the first time. So I was definitely scared when I realised this is happening after 10 years maybe. It would be 10 years.
Okay. And how was it that first day when you met her?
I think there was a lot of tears going into it. A lot of kind of, I'm sorry for this, I'm sorry for that. She was also quite happy that I'd been in a loving family. Mm-hmm. And I think just that first time meeting almost broke the ice a little bit. We met again in the future, and eventually she started going to church because of the first time, which is amazing.
Yeah. How did it come about for direct contact to start up at this point in time?
So it was my social workers. They had kind of asked me if I wanted to meet my mother, which just a week before that, I'd kind of been like, yeah, I finally want to meet her. Because I was a little bit angry about not wanting to meet her. And then just that week later, the social work asked me if I wanted to go. It was kind of magical.
Yeah, the timing of it.
Yeah.
That's cool. The anger that made you want to not meet her, has meeting her helped that?
I think I focused on the anger too much, and that was kind of the reason why I was getting angry, when actually she's just a human being. She made a mistake, and I shouldn't be thinking, oh, this horrible person, she did this, she did that, when actually we all make mistakes. I forgave her, kind of realised it wasn't as serious as I was making it out to be.
That's really interesting. So for the adults involved in helping a young person to engage in direct contact with a birth family member, what advice would you give to me, other adopters, maybe social workers?
I think, yeah, it's good to get information from other people, see how kind of they dealt with the situation, maybe before doing it yourself, but also just kind of go for it. The worst that can happen is you don't meet again, but at least kind of your kid and you have now met her, so you can kind of put that behind you a little bit, or continue to see them.
Yeah. In your direct contact journey, did any of the adults get it wrong? Like, did the social workers say anything that was really unhelpful advice, or anything like that?
I think my mum was a little bit angry.
At social work?
I think at my birth mum.
Okay.
Which she had got over. You're a parent, you're kind of angry that your kid's been treated in a certain way.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I totally understand that. What about the social workers? Did they do a good job of guiding you through it? Did you get enough support, I guess, is essentially what I'm asking.
So, obviously, the first time they asked, do you want to see it? Obviously, yes and stuff. They said, we'll get it sorted, and then I left. And then the next time I met them, it was when I was there. So there wasn't really much.
They didn't prepare you really well, or
conversations, yeah.
Oh, that's really hard. But I guess, as you say, they ask very scripted questions in your meetings that you have to have. So they probably don't have a really good relationship with you. So it's kind of would their input at this point even be helpful? Possibly
Matter,
not.
really,
Yeah, exactly.
When I walked in, though, they did kind of guide me, and then they stepped into a separate room
Okay.
I think there might have been one person there, but I don't know if they maybe left a little bit, just to give us some space. Mum and Dad were there though. They were kind of almost I could fall back on them if
Your
I
actual
was struggling a little
support,
bit.
essentially. Yeah. What advice would you give to a young person as they embark on their journey into direct contact with a birth family member?
I think just go for it instead of, debating to yourself, oh, I'm going to do it, I'm not going to do it. Just go for it. Similar to the parents, it might not go well, but at least now you've met them. It'll put your mind at ease a little bit.
I guess what was worrying your mind pre having met her, I guess?
I was a little bit scared in case, she's not changed from how she used to be. Maybe she's still not responsible and stuff like that. But also, we were told that she had been not using any stuff and stuff, so...
Her life had settled down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you had that reassurance before seeing her and then being reassured again. Now that you have a relationship with Jesus, can you see his hand on your life prior to you moving in with your mum and dad?
About a week before I moved in with my family, I was still at Vicky's, and I kind of got this feeling that I was going to get a further family, and I actually told Vicky, I know I'm going to get a further family, just as kind of I'm a kid, I know all. Yeah. And then she responded with a, what? How do you know that? And then I was kind of like,
because you hadn't been told that you'd been matched,
yeah.
Or were... Oh.
It was supposed to be a big surprise. Because the final year I didn't know that this wasn't my forever family, so...
She felt like God was giving you that reassurance.
Also, when about the first year or the second year, Vicky wanted to go on holiday to Disneyland or Disney World, one of them. My passport hadn't fully worked because I think there's a time period you have to wait for it. So I went to a respite cure, and now that I'm with my mum and dad forever family, they're actually down the road.
Oh.
Yeah, which is awesome.
That's cool.
So I went and I met them once just to kind of say hello, do you remember me? Because I was actually their first.
You were their first kid? Oh. So is it only respite that they do?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
They were quite old, so...
So that makes sense properly.
Yeah.
How has God been speaking to you in relation to your life experience?
I think I used to be a lot angrier as a child, and it'd be a little bit out of control. I'd fight a lot of people, shout at a lot of people, not really caring about my words or my actions. I think throughout my life, Vicky was more strict and more kind of rules. So she kind of showed me that empathy is a big thing and that other people have feelings as well. I'm kind of glad I also had that kind of parental experience a little bit, so I can kind of understand a lot more about other people and stuff.
And is there any way in which God is speaking to you at the moment in relation to your care experience?
Probably coming on this podcast. I'm a little bit nervous about speaking and stuff, so it was quite of a, I don't want to do this, you're doing this kind of conversation.
With God?
Yeah. Eventually I was bribed by ice cream, but...
Ice cream is a great bribery tool. Okay, so you feel like God is was encouraging you to step out of your comfort zone and do this interview. Oh, well, thank you, God. Appreciate it. And no, I also actually really appreciate your braveness and boldness in coming on, because I feel like it's really hard to share stories, and most of my guests are social workers or foster carers or adopters, but your story is almost the most important in the mix. Do you know that kind of way? No, I'm not joking. I know you're laughing at me, but I'm being genuine. The things we do are all for children and young people like you. And hearing from the other side of this part's hard, or it gives us insight into what we're actually doing, how our actions almost have consequences. So whether it's a social worker coming with their script rather than coming and being like, hey, let's get to know each other a little bit. I haven't seen you in 6 months. How was this going? You were doing this last time. And then go, actually, I can tell he's happy from his body language. I don't have to read something on a piece of paper going, is Kieran happy? And then go, Kieran, are you happy? Yeah. I can just have a conversation with you and know that by reading you, having your story is great for us to learn. Yeah. But it's also great for other young people who are in the system, who are just out of the system, to be like, I'm not alone. I felt that exact same way. Do you know that kind of way? So I do really appreciate your boldness and your courage coming and sharing your story. I'm getting teary now. Okay, let's close it up. Those are the end of my questions. Was there anything you really wanted to say before we finish?
Maybe just a little bit about issue.
Oh yeah, go on, tell me about SU.
Issue is kind of the thing that almost confirmed my faith a little bit. There was a guy named James. He was my leader because we're put into groups at the camp.
Yeah.
And I think just going into that camp, realising that not everyone's mean, kind of you went in there and everyone was lovely, everyone was welcoming.
Mm-hmm.
You could almost feel God's presence there. Go Conference, which was one of the things I went to recently, which is one where you're a lot more talkative, which God wanted me to go to. It's probably helped a little bit with anxiety and stuff, kind of talking and stuff.
Well, I really appreciate that you are allowing God to challenge you, because that is sometimes the hardest thing for us to accept and do. When God's like, do this, and you're like, don't really want to. Yeah, so well done. And I love the shout out to SU. SU are awesome. Wow, that is us. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast and sharing your story. Please make sure that you follow us on Instagram and turn on your notifications wherever you listen to your podcasts. Families Made Differently releases a new episode on the first Friday of each month at 9 a.m. Please comment on the podcast or slide into our DMs with your favourite bits, what inspired you, any questions you have, or if you too would like to be involved. We really appreciate your listening ears and continued support. This was Families Made Differently, the podcast designed to share stories from Christians in the UK whose lives and families have been shaped by fostering and adoption.